Hello everybody, this is Video Smith Studios, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my most recent build. This here is a medieval 14th century handgun, or hand cannon, whichever you want to call it. And as you can see, this is more of a late model of the handgun. And these early firearms were developed around the mid to late 14th century. I believe the first one was ever used was in 1364, 1363. I'm not 100% sure on that, don't quote me on that. But however, as you can see, this is actually chambered in 50 caliber, which is a fairly small diameter for a hand cannon, or handgun, whatever you want to call it. Only 50 caliber. A lot of these were more or less a .775 caliber. You'll see more coming. Of course, I have a ramrod, or as they were called a long time ago, scouring stick, mounted onto the side here with some bands made out of thin sheet metal. It's got I think it's a nice walnut finish to it. It's fairly nice, it's rounded off. This is actually made of, as you can see here, made of 2 pieces of wood smashed together, so it's more of a 3x4 dimension. But yeah, anyways, so let me. Okay. Anyways, how these were fired was, now you would typical gunner. I don't know if these first appeared around the matchlock era. I believe that they had been existed before then, but don't quote me on that, of course. But the gunner would have a bandolier strapped across their chest. This bandolier would have multiple hanging apostles. These apostles had set amounts of powder, and a gunner would grab an apostle, flip it open, and pour the set amount of powder down the barrel. Then what you do, you place the apostle, get your scouring stick, go into your apostle's bag. I don't know what they were stored in, probably just a apostle's bag. Grab your ball, put it into the barrel. I do not believe that these early guns actually used wadding, but ram it down. Then what you do, so I find that this here, a lot of people think it's a foregrip for some reason, like for being placed over the shoulder. A lot of people I know think it's a foregrip. Of course, that is not the case, as hopefully you guys should know. And it was actually used, a lot of these were fired from higher distances, popular for siege situations. So, which meant that they were probably fired from castle walls, fortresses off the walls. Of course, they had these components here. It was often that this was actually a part of the barrel, and there would be somewhere that they would go through and help attach the barrel to the stock, like a barrel tang, as well as would be placed up against the wall here. I do not believe that they were fired from the hip like this. Instead, the gunner would kneel down, place it over the shoulder, and aim and fire like that. Of course, I don't know what it's called. I just kind of made this in about like 30 minutes because I got bored. Figured I could use one. I don't know, this isn't an actual match cord. I just used it kind of for aesthetic effect, by the way. It might or may not work as one. I'm sure it wouldn't though. And what you would do, you would grab your powdered prime the touch hole, kind of push it all into the touch hole best you can, brush off any excess to prevent it from damaging the stock. If your match cord is not already lit, then remove it and light it. There's a lot of fashions of way you can light it. place it, blow on it to keep it lit, aim, and bring the burning match to the touch hole to light it. And boom. So, of course, in case you were wondering, yes, these did. Ted used black powder, of course. You know, a lot of more modern people won't actually realize that these took black powder. I've seen people put smokeless powder in muzzle loaders before. Nope. Okay. Anyways, this barrel is actually a piece of tubing I found off of Amazon. It's a 4130 steel, 50 caliber or half-inch internal diameter, 1-inch external diameter. Of course, that's the key whenever you're making any kind of gun or firearm at home. Want the internal diameter to be half the external diameter. Of course. So yeah, that's really it. Of course, it turned out a lot better than I expected. Now this here is actually part of the breech plug. This breech plug is actually soldered into the barrel back there, and you know, this is a really thick half-inch steel rod. Of course, I couldn't saw through that with a hacksaw. I don't use any power tools at all, so I use only hand tools, and I just couldn't saw through that with a hacksaw. I just kind of gave up, like after 30 minutes of sawing, probably more like 10-15, but still. Of course, this is just a hanger I found. I kind of bent it into a straight shape and screwed it onto the bottom there. It works. It's just a little more malleable than I would like it to be. And of course, these barrel bands were just a sheet metal wrapped over and nailed into place. So yeah, it turned out a lot better than I expected. I have tested it once before. So yeah, of course, I'm just using a chair as a representation of fortress or castle wall, or let me just reposition this here as to how this would be fired front. So of course, I don't know what it's called. Look it up. Of course, a lot of people seem to think that these, especially the triple-barreled Chinese handguns, were fired using percussion caps. Of course, that's completely wrong. Percussion caps weren't invented until the early 19th century, along with the percussion cap or cap lock rifle, whatever you call it. So that is completely wrong. These were used either with a fuse or with a burning match cord when the touch hole was filled and a fuse was inserted and then lighted, commonly by a torch, and then the touch hole was primed, and then burning match cord brought to it to fire at will. And yeah, these were extremely popular in medieval siege situations. And these were among the first firearms invented by anybody ever. In fact, these were so crude there. By modern terms, they're more considered artillery than actual firearms. So yeah, I believe this is more similar to the Hackenbusch model. It's more of a later design. It doesn't have a serpentine though. The more later ones you'll see have a serpentine trigger that holds the match, so it can be fired while aiming and with a bit more accuracy. Of course, rifling hadn't been invented yet. It wouldn't be until the 18th century. So these were smoothbore, which meant they were basically scaled down cannons and were not very accurate whatsoever. Anyways, this is pretty straightforward to make. I made it in a couple days. I just didn't really know what else to make. I'm probably still gonna put a second coat of wood stain, maybe a coat of varnish I wanted to keep it more of a natural look with still looking good though. This was just made out of pine, so it's not the best word. It's not very good on wood at all for making gun stocks, but hey, it works. So anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to comment down below what you think what I should make the next video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to comment down below, like, subscribe if you're new to my channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.